All right, guys, we got a crazy day, crazy weekend. Just getting back from my wonderful trip to Michigan and speaking at a conference. It was awesome. But today we have something. I was laying in bed, right? So the first night, I was really excited because here's why. Because normally, I don't know if any of you guys are married or any of you guys have a significant other who is not a big sports fan, but getting my wife to allow me to watch the NFL draft. Is basically like getting Harvard to get rid of their DEI, right? Like it's not going to happen. So, what I wanted to talk about today was the absolute travesty. Shedeur Sanders, guys. So I almost wore a Colorado shirt for this video. I have several. I am a huge fan of Deion Sanders. I grew up watching the Cowboys. I grew up watching the 49ers. Me and my brother would rival, right? He had the 49ers blanket and his room was all 49er stuff and mine was all Cowboys with Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman and Deion. And obviously Deion played for both teams back then. But I grew up watching Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders and Michael Jordan and we're like the two superheroes that I grew up watching, right? And so to me, Deion was always something. So when he started coaching and then went to Colorado, like I was in, okay? And I'm a huge college football fan. I watched almost every single game that they played this last season and even the season before until they, kind of the first season that Deion was there, the second half where they really fell off. I didn't watch the rest of that, but all of last year, I watched almost their entire season, every single game. And I watched tons of games with Dylan Gabriel, tons of Texas games. So I watched a lot of Oregon, a lot of Ohio State. I watched some Michigan. I watched Alabama, Oregon. I watched all of them, right? And to me, I understood the Jackson Dart pick. To be honest with you, I thought Jackson Dart, if you go watch Ole Miss tapes, he has a quick release. He's incredibly powerful. He's super accurate. But Shedeur Sanders, to me, and Cam Ward was the number one overall pick. I would have picked Cam Ward number 1, 2, and 3. Cam Ward was by far and away. I watched him play several games, and every single game, because obviously I'm in Florida, so we have a ton of Miami fans, right? And every single game watching this kid play was unbelievable. Cam Ward, I think, was the best quarterback, and I don't think it was close. I think second and third, you could argue Shedeur or Jackson Dart. I think they both have different skill sets. I don't think anyone outside of those three, I think it's a massive step between that, Dylan Gabriel, and then Quinn Ewers. And then I think it's even a massive step further down between Tyler Scoe or Show or however you name it, the guy that the Saints took. That was the worst pick of the draft. The fact that they passed on Shedeur for a guy who's literally older than Trevor Lawrence. So to give you an idea, he's 8 years older than Ryan Williams, the star wide receiver freshman from Alabama. That's how old that dude is. He shouldn't be in the league. He's not good. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. He does not deserve to be drafted. He's a 5th round, 6th round, 7th round pick. Shedeur is a monster, okay? And this is why, and this is what people don't understand. As a quarterback, your number one job, and if you don't believe me, go look at Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Now, I'm not comparing Shedeur to either of those GOATs, okay? What I am comparing him to is how they became so good. People complain about Shedeur's mobility and about how he's not that fast. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were two of the slowest quarterbacks to ever play the game. If you watch them play, they never won games with their legs. Where they won games was their ability to pre-read defenses and know the defense pre-snap and be able to adjust and know where the holes are in the defense. And who would you rather have protege your quarterback in the NFL than quite possibly the undisputed greatest defensive back to ever play the game in Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is the GOAT of defensive backs in the NFL. I'm sorry, he is. I don't even think it's fucking close. You could throw some other guys' names. Now, I think if Sean Taylor would have played, he could have been the greatest safety. I think there's some amazing safeties. I think there's some amazing corners. But when you look at the athlete, the intelligence that Deion had to play to be able to play both sides of the ball in the NFL while playing professional baseball at the same, the dude's a freak. But he literally has been coaching his son on how to read defenses from the mind of a goated defensive back. That's who's teaching him how to read defenses. You don't think Deion Sanders knows how to read defenses? You don't think he has every tip and trick in the book of how a defensive back positions, of how a defense looks, of how they disguise coverages? He did it. There's no one better to learn from. There's no one better to learn from. The reason Shedeur was so good was because he was so smart before the snap. Now, let's not get into the fact that his offensive line was awful. He got sacked a lot. Now, I watched every game. Some of the sacks were Shedeur's fault. A lot of them were not. A lot of them were shit offensive line play. That's just the truth. They did not have a good offensive line protecting him. Period. End of story. Shedeur still did amazing things with, let's be honest, outside of Travis Hunter, his wide receiving core wasn't that good. They were just fast, right? They were quick, but he knew where they were going to be. He knew how to set up the play. He was incredibly accurate. He knew how to read defenses. He knew where the holes were going to be. He has that clutch gene. He should have been picked day one. He is a first round talent. Period. He is a first-round talent. But even if you want to argue that, hey, there should have only been 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round, which it was, cool. I'll take that. Okay? So then he should have been a second-round pick. There's 0% chance that the Saints are going to be happy with their second-round pick in Tyler. That was a laughable pick. And then for him not only to not get drafted in round 2, not get drafted in round 3, and then even in round 4, all 32 teams passed on him. The fact that the Lions passed on him is beyond me. Like, Jalen Milroe, great quarterback. Like, great, just raw talent. I understand him going off the board. But not before this guy, if you want a quarterback. Not before this kid. Now, here's their arguments, right? Their arguments are basically this, right? This is the conjecture. And there is no conjecture. It was complete collusion by the ownership, right? And I understand it. And here's what I'm going to say. I don't agree with it, but from their point of view, this is what they did. The ownership said, Deion's out here saying, if my kid gets drafted by this team, he ain't going to play. Well, Deion, as an ownership group, if I owned a team in the NFL, I say, who the fuck do you think you were a player? That would be like one of my coaches saying, oh, if my son can't come to your gym, he ain't going to the gym. I'd be like, bet, bitch. Right? Like, I'd call your bluff because I own the shit. It's mine. I get it. Right? Like, you don't let anyone strong arm you when you own the company and you've put all the money up and you've taken all the risk and you've put it in the blood and sweat and fucking tears to build the thing. Like, I get it. There's a sense of pride and ego that says, you ain't in charge of shit. Watch. And I get it. And Deion should have shut his fucking mouth. But he didn't. And then there's the aspect of, well, Deion's going to want to coach his kid. So if I draft Shedeur, every single coach, like on the team that I draft him, that coach is going to be on the hot seat. Good. Earn your shit. If he would have went to Pittsburgh at 20 or 21, whenever their pick was, if he would have went to Pittsburgh, bro, Mike Tomlin, he ain't scared of Deion Sanders. Mike Tomlin is a G. He ain't going nowhere. They ain't going to fire him for Deion. He runs a culture. He runs a program. He runs a play. Like, and to be honest, he would have been a great fit in Pittsburgh, man. He would have been such a good fit in Pittsburgh. But for him to get picked, and not only picked, but picked by fucking Cleveland after they drafted Dylan Gabriel. So now in their quarterback room, they have Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. So I think Pickett might get cut. They've got Deshaun Watson, right? He's getting a hand job somewhere right now, guaranteed. Right? That dude, I don't know how you cut his contract, but there's got to be a way you can sue that son of a bitch and get your money back, right? Like, that dude is the biggest disaster in the history of the NFL. Like, and I love Deshaun Watson. I watched him play. I watched what he did at the Texans when he first, like, that dude is the definition of talent destroyed, right? Like, a potential ruin by yourself, right? Like, the dude, has the ability, but not the discipline, right? He has all the raw talent in the world, but not the skill set. And he's the example of what every talented show off should fucking be careful of. Like, if I have a kid if one of my kids, and I pray to the Lord that this happens, one of them are blessed enough to have that type of opportunity, I'm going to sit down and show them a lifetime documentary of Deshaun Watson and be like, bro, this kid had all the talent, had all the ability, even got all the money, and he fucked it all up. He's still on the team with Cleveland, okay? And then you got Dylan Gabriel, who Dylan Gabriel can chuck the ball. Now, granted, he was on a team that had some incredible receivers, right? Like, he probably had one of the top 2 or 3 receiving cores in the country behind Ohio State, right? Like, I don't think apples to apples outside of Ohio State, you can show me a better receiving core than Oregon had. Like, those boys were nasty. Those boys were fucking real. Like, great offense. But Dylan Gabriel can chuck the rock. So you've got some young studs. Like Cleveland's quarterback room is stacked. But I'm telling you what, if I'm Shedeur, I don't sign that contract. I don't sign it. I say, fuck you, bro. I'll get picked up in free agency. Give me free agency money. Let me go earn it. That's what I would do. I wouldn't sign, like, I would not sign with Cleveland because there's no shot that he gets the opportunity in Cleveland. The opportunity he deserves with being picked in the 5th round. There's zero chance that he gets the up. Now, if he goes in there and balls, sure, but you're balling in Cleveland. It's Cleveland. It's where quarterbacks go to die. Go look at all the quarterbacks Cleveland's drafted. They've ruined so much talent at Cleveland. It is unbelievable. For them to pick him was, you couldn't have picked a worse scenario. Name me a worse scenario than picking Shedeur in the 5th round to go to Cleveland. Like, even if he would have went to Jacksonville and sat behind T-Law for a year or two. And then if T-Law doesn't have it, at least Shedeur can, learn the ropes, and there's a team down there, right? Like, and Travis is down there, and it's Florida, right? Like, you'll pack the seats with Hunter and Shedeur jerseys. And I'm telling you right now, Shedeur's going to be the number 1 selling jersey this year. Shedeur will be the number 1 selling jersey this year because they fucked him. Every single team, when he dropped out of the 3rd round, that 4th round first pick should have taken him just for jersey sales. You make more money on jersey sales than you make on him. Because they snuffed this kid. They colluded this kid. Every owner said, screw you. And there's all these excuses about, oh, well, he interviewed poorly or he did. Bitch, ain't nobody cares. You've got guys all over the NFL who beat the shit out of women and come right back to the league and come out for 3 sacks on Sunday. They don't care. They don't care. They care about winning and money. And if you care about winning and money, you take Prime's kid. The kid wants to win. The kid's got a chip on his shoulder. Now it's massive. The kid's got an ego. Yes. So shut him up in practice. Let the big boys rock him a little bit, right? Show him, hey, this is what the NFL looks like. This ain't Jackson State. This ain't Colorado. This is the league. But give him an opportunity. The dude deserves it, man. You let Trey Lance come out of North Dakota State, and everyone's hyped up on Trey Lance come out of Division II. This kid went from Jackson State to fucking Colorado and took Colorado to a bowl game, and realistically, there's arguments for them to have been in the playoffs. If they would have gotten to the Big 12 championship, they would have won it. They would have. And you did not want to run into... I mean, look at the teams that we ended up with the national championship. It was the 7th seed and the 8th seed. It was Notre Dame and Ohio State. Now, I don't think they would have beat Ohio State. I don't think they would have beat a lot of teams. But they would have played. I wouldn't have wanted to run into Shedeur and Travis Hunter. I wouldn't have run into... Now, my offense... If I had a good offense, I'd have steamrolled Colorado because their defense was suspect as fuck. Outside of Travis Hunter, Their defense was not that good. You could run down their throats. Now, they played better at the end of the season, but let's be real. Their defense was a B caliber defense. It was not a playoff caliber defense. But that offense was clicking. That offense was fire. You could argue that offense could play with any offense. They could put up points with anybody. And Shedeur is the reason why. He is the field general. He read the defenses. He knew what they were going to do. He studied. He's a good kid. He doesn't get in trouble. Yeah, he's got an ego. So what? So what? This is unbelievable what they did to this kid. Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, I've never rooted for a player in a long time. Not since Ray fucking Lewis. And Tom Brady, right? Like Tom Brady, I hate Michigan, but I rooted for Tom. Like I loved watching Tom Brady. Tom Brady playing football, I got to watch multiple times when he was at Tampa. It'll be one of the greatest memories I ever have, is I got to watch the GOAT play football. And I'll tell you what, the last player I was excited about, truly, this is the last one that I was excited about watching play football, was Sean Taylor before he died. That dude, I watched every single game that kid played in Miami. Monster. He played football the way that God made it intended. Just rip your head off if you catch the ball near him. You're going to feel it for a week. He's going to take your head off. That is Sean Taylor. It was the best thing to watch. I think Shedeur is going to be fun to watch, but I'm going to tell you this. I think they're going to snub his career. I think they're going to wash him down the toilet. I think he's going to be part of the Cleveland grinder where they just eat him up and spit him out and beat his ass and kick him to the curb. He's either going to get hurt, they're going to fuck his career up. Like, it's the worst place he could go. It's the worst place. He needs to not sign that deal and risk free agency. That's what he needs to do. There's rumors that he can sue, or he can bring a case to the NCAA and get another year of eligibility, and go to Ohio State and play quarterback. Like, go, Shedeur, if you can do it, go do it. But it's not going to change what happened. It's not going to change what happened. And even if you go to a really great school, right? Even if you go back to Colorado, your draft stock isn't going to increase, dude. You were you were a top 3 pick, according to everybody before the draft. So your stock ain't going up. They are going to try to make an example out of this kid of keep your mouth shut, quit being a loudmouth, you ain't shit, we're the owners, you're the players. And I get that side of the argument. But to do this to a 21-year-old kid is wrong, man. It's wrong. He hasn't even started his career and you guys killed him. You ruined his career before it started. And no one else is going to say that. Everyone else is going to give you all this hope and all this and all this that. No, he's going to go out there and do that. No, man, he's in Cleveland. They ruined his career already. And they did it on purpose. And that's so messed up. The kid deserves better than that. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments.